And the opening prayer. Almighty God, you have blessed us with memory, reason, and skill. Help us to use them wisely in the service of our town government. We ask this in your holy name. Amen. Please the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Gentlemen, you have the minutes from March the 13th. Are there any additions or deletions to the minutes?
Your motion to accept the minutes?
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Have the zoning board of appeals minutes. Do you, gentlemen? Generally open the meeting to the public now. Anyone from the public wish to address the board? Anyone wishing to address the board, we'll go to the minute. Number one on your agenda is memo from Alvin Gibson. It's Personnel Director of the Clinton County Interactive Satellite Telephone Conference. There's a conference scheduled for April the 26th at 6:15. Registration fees are $10, and the conference is on civil service issues. Is there anyone that would like to attend this teleconference? It's Thursday, April the 26th. And it starts at 6:15, goes to 8:45 p.m. at 6:15 p.m. Nobody wants to attend?
Is that some out there with the payroll deals?
Yeah, civil service, jobs.
Would it be advisable to have Jane go to this?
There's another one she wants to go to.
I know that.
There's two more. I always see if she wants to go to that. She didn't say anything about it, but none of us want to go, so maybe we'll leave it open to her. So with the board's permission, I'll leave it open to allow Jean to go if she wants. Jane to go if she wants. Number two on your agenda is from New York State Electric and Gas. Bob Perkins came up the other day and had a discussion on energy prices. And his letter goes as, there has been a great deal of attention in our news recently, noting the potential for an energy crisis in New York if immediate action is not taken. Many articles note that the signs are there for a repeat of blackouts that brought parts of California to a standstill and resulted in skyrocketing energy costs to consumers. New York State Electric and Gas shares these concerns and the impact they will have on our customers and the economy of the state if immediate action is not taken. We feel action must be taken now on a state level to implement new energy policies. These actions must include the streamlining of the siting process for our new generation plants, adding to the capacity of the state's transmission system, and increasing natural gas supply and pipeline infrastructure meets the 34% increase in natural gas consumption that's projected over the next few years. Failure to do so will result in significant price increases for all New Yorkers. We also feel that it's critical that our customers receive long-term, reliable energy supply at stable prices. New York State Electric and Gas electric rates have been frozen since 1995, and we recently filed a new price protection plan for the Public Service Commission that would continue to freeze rates through 2008. This is in addition to providing our customers the option to shop competitively for an alternative supplier of electricity. Your help is needed to assure immediate action is taken. I would ask the town board would consider passing a resolution supporting our price protection plan and forwarding a copy of same to Governor Pataki and PSC Chairman Maureen Hellman. I've enclosed an information sheet detailing New York State's plan and a recent editorial from the Placer Republican noting the urgency of action on this issue. I would be pleased to meet you if you have discussions on further on it. He did explain the freeze that they want. I think everybody got a copy of it. And you can see the residential rate comparison with Consolidated Edison and also New York State Electric and Gas. Did you get them?
This fax.
The comparison. He faxed also a resolution sample that would be interested to supply to Governor Pataki and also the PSC. And the resolution reads as forward. Dear Governor Pataki, at the town of Champlain Town Board meeting held on April the 9th today, whatever, the following resolution was unanimously adopted upon a motion made by who and Councilman second. Resolved that the town board, the town of Champlain, supports New York State Electric and Gas with their endeavor to put in place a price protection plan. And whereas it is the consensus of the supervisor and the town board that the residents of the town of Champlain should be entitled to receive long-term, reliable energy supply at stable prices. And whereas action must be taken at a state level to implement new energy policies. And whereas these actions should include streamlining of our siting process for new generation plant and adding to the capacity of the state's transmission system and increasing natural gas supply and pipeline infrastructure to meet the 34% increase in natural gas consumption that this project over the next few years. And be it further resolved that the town board urges the governor of the state of New York, the Senate and the Assembly to address New York State's concern regarding a possible energy crisis in the state and to support the expeditious approval of New York State's electric and gas price protection plan. So that is the resolution that he's looking for to send. Is there any comment from the board?
Yeah, I got a question on it. Are they saying they're not gonna raise it any? Should I keep it the same way it was in 1995?
That's for residential now, not for commercial or industrial. Of course, like gas, did you get those breakouts? Did you get them? It shows you how gas has gone up. And well, like if you look at the figure 2, residential rate comparison for New York State Electric and Gas and Consolidated Edison, summer and winter of 1999 and 2000. The summer of 99, New York State Electric and Gas was at 14.43. Consolidated Edison was at 15.61. And as you go through, you can see where it stayed at 14.32 for New York State Electric and Gas. And the high was in the winter of 1000 and 1001. Consolidated Edison went to 2038 per kilowatt. And you also have figure 3. But they have maintained that rate, for residential. And they want to continue that to 2008. Of course, it has to be approved by the PSC. But I guess they're having trouble on siting processes. They're taking so long to get them started that that's causing quite a bit of problem. So I guess what they're looking for is, does the board want to adopt that resolution and forward it on not only to Governor Pataki, but to Senator Stafford and Nartloff and also the PSC.
I think to protect our people in this area, we almost need to adopt it so we can keep it at least where it is, so it doesn't go up any higher from now, and at least up until 2008. Otherwise, we can go up like the other ones. So I'll make a resolution for that.
Second.
Okay, motion resolution by Mr. Cookman and second by Mr. DeMars. Any further discussion on the motion? No further discussion. We have a roll call vote. Mr. Wallach?
No.
No. Mr. DeMars?
Aye.
Mr. Cookman?
Aye.
Mr. Trahan?
All right.
Supervisor votes aye.
don't trust us out there.
Next thing on the agenda is the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, and it has to deal with the National Flood Insurance Program. Have all you gentlemen read the letters that received from what they want us to do, according to what Henry has recommended, that is passing the model law will put the town in compliance with both the federal and state requirements for FEMA. FEMA also recommends that we do a moderate change. I'll read some of the letter for the public. This is in reference to the town of Champlain participating in the National Flood Insurance Program. As state coordinating agency for federal flood insurance, we are partially concerned that the town maintains continued programs, eligibility, and avoids the federal mandated economic sanctions associated with program suspension. The flood insurance rate map established a 100-year base flood elevation for the town has recently been completed by the Federal Emergency Management Agency. A condition of continued eligibility in the NFIP is the adoption of floodplain management regulations meeting the standards of Section 60.3D of the program regulations by July the 19th, 2001. Failure to enact required regulations by this date will result in program suspension. We have reviewed the local floodplain management regulations adopted by your community and on file in this office. It's local law number 4 of 1999, amended by local law November the 1st, 1999. As a result, 1991. As a result of this review and change required as referenced above, we recommend replacement of the existing floodplain management regulations with enactment of the enclosed model regulations. The current model has been updated to include federal program changes made since the adoption of our existing regulations. An electronic version is available upon request. Section 3.2 has been completed to correctly reference the revised flood insurance rate. Please verify the location of the office where the FIS and mapping are on file for both public access prior to adoption. The model law reflects the minimum NFIP regulatory standards. We recommend that your local law provide an added measure of safety by requiring elevations to be at least 1 foot above the base flood elevation. Not only will this provide added protection against flood damage, but it will also result in 25% lower flood insurance premium for a compliant house. To make the change to the model law, the words 1 foot above should be placed before the words the base flood in section 5.3-1, 5.4, 5.4.1, and 5.52. The words 1 foot more than should be added before the words the depth numbers in sections 5.3-1, 5.4-2, and 5.5-5. Then on that, now I have no objections to what they've said so far, but there is the last paragraph in the letter. At the town's option, you may also wish to add a repetitive loss definition. If you choose to do so, flood insurance policyholders will be eligible for up to an additional $20,000 in coverage to help pay for the cost to elevate flood-proof, demolish, or relocate a building should they incur two flood-related loss averaging 25% of the value of the structure within a 10-year period. The town would be responsible for maintaining records of flood loss. This would apply to a builder, whether or not there has been a change in ownership of the building. Should you wish to add this clause, you should modify the substantial damage definition as follows. The substantial damage means damage to any origin sustained by a structure, whereby the cost of restoring the structure to its before damaged condition would equal or exceed 50% of the market value of the structure before the damage occurred. Substantial damage also means flood-related damage sustained by a structure or two separate occasions during a 10-year period for which the cost of repairs at the time of such flood event on the average equals or exceeds 25% of the market value of the structure before the damage occurred. The only thing I don't like about this is that it puts the responsibility of the town to maintain that records. I think this seems to be a problem with this part of the law. I mean, how do we really would know if they did 25% damage to their structure? That's between them and the insurance company. Is that information that we're entitled to? How would we know it? So personally, myself, I don't mind the other part of the law, but I don't like this option to add. What's the board's feeling?
Can you adopt just half of it?
Well, we wouldn't adopt this last paragraph, substantial damage. We
already got the first part of it in there already, right?
yeah, most of it we do. Well,
Except for that 1 foot of,
1 foot above the 102, you're supposed to be at 103 when you're building something.
well, the model law, did you get a copy of the model law?
Yeah.
You got all that, didn't you?
Yeah, it's on,
Yeah. So what you would do is you would adopt the model law, excluding the last part, which they call the substantial damage. Well, I don't feel that we should adopt that part of it now. But this is scheduled for a public hearing. We have to schedule a public hearing. So you've got a month to think this over and look at it. But the clerk and I read this, and we just, don't feel confident and safe with it. So I think what we should do is schedule a public hearing on the local law. We'll give you time to review it, make up your mind, ask questions, and check it out.
in other words, you want to check out what the first part of this says on that 1 foot deal.
Well, that first part, I have no objection to that.
Yeah, but we have already got that in there, right?
Well, I think it's how the wording is done.
Right, well,
They-
that's what I mean, you
yeah.
gotta clarify the wording
Mm-hmm.
and then leave it at that.
Yes, not include the substantial damage.
That bottom part by them was, they want you to,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you
they're
keep
asking for a strong.
control of that bottom part. I don't know how you control it.
I don't either.
So flood damage wouldn't necessarily be structural damage.
Yeah.
You had a claim against the insurance company, repair the road, replace the road, that would not be structural damage. And how do you distinguish that? 'Cause
No,
Well, then
otherwise
everything is an argument case here, we don't want to be in the middle of
We
it.
want to be in the middle,
you'd
no.
be in the middle of a lot of,
No, I don't, doesn't,
So our next meeting is, what
they
is it,
die.
9th of May? So we want to schedule a public hearing from the 9th of May at 7:30.
it's a public hearing for a local, to pass a
Public
local
hearing to
law.
pass a local law.
Was the 9th or the 8th?
It is Tuesday, I can't see that part.
8th, Tuesday would be the 8th.
First, okay, that's right. 8th would be Tuesday.
Oh, May 8th.
May 8th.
May 8th.
But May 8th?
Let's get the calendar on.
Whatever it is, I can't see the calendar. I don't need to know right now, I just don't.
Okay, between now and then, gentlemen, we can all review it better. And
Maybe pass a motion to do that?
motion made by Mr. Wallet,
Bruce,
second of the motion made by
Second.
Mr. Trahan. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Number 4 is a workshop, accounting, state controller. Jane would like to attend
I'll make,
the June the 11th and to the 13th, and that's in Plattsburgh.
I'll make a motion to that.
Motion by Mr. Cookman, is there a second? Second by Mr. DeMars, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 5 is New York State Department of Health. That's the annual water quality report. I've got a call into the village of Champlain to see if they're going to handle this for us with the new proposal we have. I think that's part of the job. Number 6, that's the cold software package that we purchased. It is in and running. I think he's got a modified program in there, letting them practice on it and go install the real thing later on as soon as they get accustomed to it. Has anybody been in to see it? It's a nice program.
Julie's been working on revamping the writing on the permit, for that to what. So she sent it down to them so they can prepare to put it on the machine the way that we want to finish it.
Okay, number 7 on your agenda is it's a letter from the town of Shazy. We received letters from everybody, and of course this is not possible for the town to be exempt on their sand pit and their gravel pit in the town of Moores and also the town of Shazy. Number 8 is from the village of Rouse's Point. It's addressed to the supervisor, and it goes to read, Fire Chief Brian Pelkey and Public Works Supervisor Robert Clark examined the dry hydrants that are located in the town in reference to paragraph 14 of the proposed fire contract between the village of Rouse's Point and the town of Champlain. They found these hydrants to be packed with snow unable to use in case of emergency. They should be kept open at all times to be available in case of emergency. The hydrant located at Point of Fur cannot be utilized because it would be impossible to get an adequate flow to fight a fire. Thank you for this attention. Mr. George Rivers, did you get a copy of this to check that out? Did you check them?
Yeah, we were just busy during that time. We just didn't have a chance to get there.
That the fire hydrant at Point of Fair, that was put in by the Corps engineer, and that has never been able to be used. I think we have to get that gentleman a call and find out, and I can't remember who it was, and find out what we can do about it.
Okay, you want to handle that and see what you can find out?
Yeah.
What about these other areas? They've been shoveled all over, or
Yep.
they found something wrong here then, or what?
They said that they were packed with snow, they couldn't get to them.
Wow, yeah. We're having those big storms, and we were busy on the roads. We just didn't have time to down there with the water and clean them out, that's all.
And this letter was addressed March the 20th. Okay. Number 9 on your agenda is from the Clinton County Planning Department, and it says, as you may recall, over a year ago, our department had submitted a grant application under the Disaster Recovery Initiative program for a number of different items, including generators and radio communication equipment for municipalities. The grant provided 75% of the project cost and requires a 25% local share. At the time, your municipality had requested funding for the following items, and they were included in our grant application. 1-20 kW generator, total cost $14,000. 25% local share would be $3,500. We were originally notified that the application has been approved in its entirety. I will be meeting with staff from the New York State Emergency Management Office shortly to discuss the details how the program will be administered, including what documentation will be necessary from the municipality. Please note that if you decide to participate in the program, your municipality will be required to provide 25% of the total project cost. As soon as I have the necessary information, I will be sending you detailed instructions describing how to access the funds and make your purchase. Nobody's changed their mind. It's 25% funded program. Association of Towns Regional Lobby Day is scheduled for Friday, April the 27th at the Hilton Lake Placid Resort, 7:30 to 9. Breakfast starts at 7:30. Is there anyone that would like to attend this other than myself? I'll make your reservations.
I don't know yet.
You don't know yet? You don't know? Red? You don't know?
When you gonna know this?
Well, April the 27th,
You gotta know by April 23rd.
April 23rd,
I'll let you know before that.
okay? Number 11 is Joint Council for Economic Opportunity, and it's addressed to the supervisor. As chairperson for the nominating committee for the JCO Board of Directors, I am seeking your assistance as the JCO Board prepares for its annual meeting on April the 17th, 2001. Pursuant to PL 105-285, the following request is being made to your governing body. The Board of Directors of the JCO is formally requesting that you appoint either yourself or a designate from the town of Champlain to serve on the JCO Board. The term of office will be from April 2001 through April of 2002. Your prompt response to this request will be appreciated. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at your earliest convenience. Delina Clark. Is there any nominations for the board for this committee?
I'll make a nomination of Gerald Mayer to fill that position.
There's a nomination for Gerald Mayo. Is there a second to the nomination?
Second.
Second to the nomination. Any further nominations for the floor? No further nominations. A roll call vote. Mr. Wallach? Mr. Demars?
Aye.
Mr. Cookman?
Aye.
Mr. Trahan?
Aye.
Supervisor votes aye. Next, I have a letter from Clinton County Highway Department from Al Rascal. And it's a letter of compliment, I guess. Dear Mr. Beal, I am taking this opportunity to express my appreciation for the excellent snow and ice service that have been provided by the Town of Champlain Highway Department. During the past 2 winter seasons, not one single complaint has been received by our office regarding snow and ice concerns from area residents on any of the county roads located within the Town of Champlain. During the recent heavy snowfall, where 30 inches plus of snow was deposited in a 24-hour period, this department contacted every town highway department to assess the needs for county assistance during the major storm event. As a credit to Sam Castine, the town crews were able to keep up and maintain open roadways without our assistance. This enabled our department to focus its efforts in other critical areas of the county. Please extend my sincere appreciations to Mr. Castine as the county looks forward to continuing the contractual relationship for snow and ice services with the Town of Champlain. Sincerely, Al Rascal. So, congratulations, Sam. Did a good job. Number 13 on the agenda is the permanent annual members conference. That's held in Lake George. I'd like to appoint Jane to go to this. It's paid for by the annual members conference. Is there a motion to allow Jane to
Make a
attend?
motion that she goes.
Motion by Mr. Trahan, second.
Second.
All in favor, say goodbye. Opposed? Flint County Treasurer, good news. Please find enclosed a check in the amount of $79,416.85. This check represents the first quarter distribution of 2001 sales tax revenue. If you should have any questions regarding this matter, please feel free to contact me at any time. Gregory Bell. Thank you, Gregory. Number 15 on the agenda is from the Office of Real Property. That gives you your tentative special franchise assessment for 2001. You can look those over, gentlemen. You have the New York State Electric and Gas Corporation, AT&T Communications, Champlain Telephone Company, Jay-Z Westport, North Country Gas Pipe, and Time Warner of Champlain. These are a tentative rates, gentlemen, not the final. Number 16, you have a letter from George Pataki, Office of the Governor, and is helping New York farmers. He's protecting farmland, and it gives you an idea of what programs that he's planning to institute for the year 2001 and 2. Number 17 is Time Warner Cable. It's the franchise. Propaganda letter that they send around once a year telling you what they've done and who they've done it for. So that's for your review, gentlemen. We're starting to get Clinton County legislators' agenda. My question to you, gentlemen, do you want to receive a copy of this? It's not necessary to receive it, but I just want to, set the offer out there to you that you can receive it. You want it. Let me know if anybody wants it. Fire contract. Well, it still is not signed. We got a letter from Mr. Murnane at the Stafford, Trombley, Owens and Curtin office. We have revised the contract to meet his requirements on his letter dated March the 16th of 2000. And also he made some requirements for modifications on April the 2nd, 2001. Also, I've had Henry review this contract and add his comments on it. And the latest addition to this was done today with Henry's changes. With the board, I'm not going to ask the board to vote on this because I'm going to ship it to Mr. Murnane and also the mayor of Rouse's Point to see what other changes they would like before we adopt this contract. This thing has bounced around quite a few times. I'd like to get the opinion from the board on Champlain National Bank contacted me about the lease agreement between the town of Champlain and the North Country Golf Club dated January the 14th, 1992. And it says, pursuant to our conversation yesterday, Champlain National Bank and the North Country Golf Club would like to request an addendum to the lease which gives the North Country Golf Club Incorporated first option to renew the lease upon its maturity. What's the board's feeling on this? I think what they're looking for is the possibility that they might refinance their loan through the Champlain National Bank, and I guess the bank would like this added clause in the contract. Does the board have any objections to this?
It would be just changing,
I think it would just give them that
changing banks on this.
Yeah, I think they're
We're going to refinance it.
going to refinance, I guess.
They're going to be able to take some of it off. And they refinance the rest of it.
We're not changing the contract.
Not changing the contract, no, you're just putting a little addendum to it that
Says
they have first right to
to
refuse.
renew for that piece of property. Which is
No problem.
I don't have any problem with that.
Have a motion then that we,
So moved.
so move by Mr. Cookman, is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Second by Mr. Morris, is there any further discussion on this motion? No further discussion, a roll call vote, Mr. Wallet? Aye. Mr. Morris? Aye. Mr. Cookman?
All right.
Mr. Tran?
All right.
With the board's permission, Mr. Teeny is going to help me draw up the specs for the bid for the 1187 corridor. I would like the board's official permission to go to bid and when those specs are drawn up and possibly have those bids ready for the next May meeting. So moved by Mr. Cookman, do you second the motion?
Second.
Second the motion, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's all I have, gentlemen. Go to committee reports. Building committee, Mr. Tran, Mr. Morris.
I'm still waiting for some stuff in the back here, which we're gonna finalize this week, one way or another.
I see they got the doors on?
Yeah.
Okay. Grants Committee, Mr. Cookman and Mr. Wallet.
We're still working on the grant for the water, and we're gonna meet with Ron Labarge Thursday and talk some more about it.
Thursday, what time?
We're gonna meet with him at 11:15 here.
Okay, anything else?
No, that's it.
Board of Assessment Review, Mr. Wallet. Highway Committee, Mr. Trahan, Mr. Demars.
We went down to Plattsburgh, to the highway, Clinton County Highway Department, a couple of days ago to find out more on this computerized setup with Sam. Sam was down with me and Bruce. And we've done it for quite a while. And we've got some research work to do on this to see how much we want to put in the computer. We're having quite a bit of problem, not now, but this fuel deal is kind of a problem, and Sam has corrected that. And if we put this in the computer, then Sam would be doing less work in that part of it, if it works out. And that's what we're gonna find out, if we can do this. What the cost is of getting this, where it will come into the office, a lot of fuel going to every truck.
Okay.
And the auditor wants something done to that, but right now Sam's doing a longhand deal. And if we can put it on the computer, and also some of the maintenance, but their program is not what we were looking for.
Is there any other programs you know of out there that,
Well, that's what we're looking at, that part of it, and
We checked with that ABS company,
EAS?
and they don't have one.
No.
But the guy called back and thinks he can get one for us, or recommend another company that might have one. So they're supposed to be calling Jane back. And then, no, they did call back. And this guy's gonna send information on it, and we're gonna look at it and with Sam and see if it's something that we might be interested in.
No, I just gonna like send you a sample copy.
Yeah.
Good idea.
they claim the system that we want would probably work for us, but it wouldn't work for them because they got too much stuff. And the computer wouldn't be big enough to handle it.
Ours wouldn't.
Well, theirs.
Oh,
ours.
ours. Oh.
But we don't have as many vehicles as they do. They got over 100 pieces of equipment. And we have about 15, so. What they have, it's hard copy stuff to go back and see what happened to a piece of equipment 5 years ago. And we were hoping to have this push of a button. It doesn't come out that way.
Okay. Let's know how to make out. Water and Sewer Committee, Mr. Cookman, Mr. Wallet.
I was saying, I checked with the Village of Champlain, and as of so far, it's working out with that water contract, sewer contract that we have with them. They have no problems at this time, and everything seems to be going very good.
Okay. Anything else? Landfill Committee, Mr. Trahan, Mr. Wallet.
Nothing at this time. Waiting for the snow to go.
Okay. Any other councilman have anything you want to bring up this time?
Yeah, I got this on changes on policy for
Mhm.
employees. Couple of changes, which we have to vote on. We'll change some of the wording.
You're gonna, it is brought to the attention of the Personnel Committee that the last change made to the personnel policy dated February the 13th, 2001, regarding the eligibility status, did not mention the option of health insurance buyout. I believe that is the intention of this board, that whether or not the employee opts for the buyout or not, the eligibility status as of January the 15th, 2001 still remains. Since the buyout is at the discretion of the town board on an annual basis, the rules and policy apply to all employees, whether or not they elect the buyout or not. Therefore, it is suggested that the amendment be added to the personnel policy addressing the buyout issue as mentioned above. Is there any discussion on it? Okay, gentlemen, we're looking for a motion to amend the personnel policy to so read the buyout status of January the 15th, 2001.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Wallet, second made by Mr. DeMars. Roll call vote. Mr. Wallet?
Aye.
Mr. DeMars?
Aye.
Mr. Cookman?
Aye.
Mr. Trahan? Supervisor votes aye. The second part, dated February the 13th, 2001, subject personnel policy. The following is for your consideration regarding an addition to the town personnel policy, employee health insurance benefit. The eligibility status for an employee health insurance benefit will commence as of January the 15th, 2001. The town policy rules and requirements regarding health insurance will be in effect. Example 1. If on January the 4th, 2001, you were eligible and were receiving a husband and wife plan, and on January the 23rd, 2001, had a child, the town policy would only continue to cover just you and your wife. If you elected to change your plan to a family plan, the difference in the premium would be a payroll deduction. Number 2, if the employee's marital status changes from married to single, either through divorce or death, and there are no children, then the employee must change the policy to a single plan. In the event the employee remarries and wishes to include his or her spouse on the plan, then the difference in a single versus husband and wife premium would be a payroll deduction. If the employee's marital status changes from married to single, either through divorce or death, and there are children in the household, then no change would take effect. If the employee remarries and the children remain under his, her care, no effect to the coverage. The family plan includes father, mother, and children. Any discussion on the changes? Everyone understand the changes? Need a motion to make the change to the personnel policy as quoted.
Make a motion.
Made a motion by Mr. Wallet, second to the motion.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? No further discussion on the motion. We'll have a roll call vote. Mr. Wallet?
Aye.
Mr. DeMars?
Aye.
Mr. Cookman?
Aye.
Mr. Trahan?
Aye.
Supervisor votes aye. Any councilman have anything else they'd like to bring up this time? If not, we'll go to the clerk's report.
First concerned, the claim lawyer in Albany, McNamee, Lochner, Titus, and Williams, a claim from a matter of the claim of Miramar Promenade, Champlain Incorporated, and turns it over to the insurance company and also our attorney. A letter from Emmanuel R. Kupal, Sheila R. Kupal, Manny's, 1149 Main Street. Those may concern, please be advised that we, Emmanuel Kupal and Sheila Kupal, will be renewing our liquor license to sell liquor for consumption on the premises at 1149 Main Street in the village of Champlain. We are required to notify you under the Alcohol Beverage Control Law. I got a notice yesterday from the DEC and our new program, computer program to sell hunting and fishing licenses has been delayed for a year. So that for another year, we'll be selling them the same as we have. We also have been informed that the store in Caper's Mills was Outpost. The Outpost is not going to sell licenses anymore. She has let her bond expire and she's not going to renew it. We'll probably be selling more licenses than we have in the past. So,
What's gonna happen when you get that computer system? You're gonna have one place to sell them, then, period.
whatever,
And to be sold on, working hours also, right?
well, I sold them for 41 years for home, but I won't sell them
Well,
for
they'll do that
computer
anyway,
business.
right?
You have been talking about increasing the size of the vault. This is scuttlebutt topic. I have received some information on a electronic process whereby your records are read and stored on disk. I have some information on it here. If any of you are interested in reading about it, you can have them come up and give you a price on what it would cost to install. Just some information that's where you want to read it. That's
Can
it.
you get the information to see what that's gonna cost? That's the stuff I got on New York.
Yeah, and I got something off the internet. I put out a bunch of stuff on
Can
the
you find out
internet.
from them what the cost would be?
Well, they gotta come and look at what you need. You have to make a site visit. Say they'll do that for nothing, but I didn't wanna get them up there if you weren't interested in having them come. Have them come up and look and then
That would determine if we wanna
nobody
build another
interested in
wall.
talking to
I'll
us.
tell you, I think we should have them come out
Okay,
and look at it.
very good.
I'll make a motion.
I mean,
Well,
on a special trip, when it's up this way, I mean, the guy putting through in New York about this thing, you know,
This may be the way to go.
Well, at least worth looking at.
That's right.
Can't keep collecting paper. Jeez.
And you can find out how much, if you put it on this, how much of the paper you can get rid of.
One disc holds one file cabinet.
Yeah, but can you get rid of that file cabinet if you put it on a disk? That's what we need to know
They
too.
didn't say you could get rid of it, but they said you could store it in not a
Fire,
fireproof vault.
okay. Yeah, that's-
Store it somewhere else, off-site. Doesn't have to be on site.
Put it back in the garage.
Yes,
Where?
Where?
not in a pole barn,
building.
good place
not
for
in a pole barn. That's all I have, sir.
Same new building.
Anybody have anything else you want to bring up?
Start the fire.
Okay, gentlemen, you had the post-dated bills in the amount of $38,940, and you had the accounts payable in the amount of $17,731. Are there any questions on the bills?
I'll make a motion to pay the bill.
Motion by Mr. Cookman, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Trahan. Any further discussion on the bills? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Right.
Opposed? Carried. Nothing more to come before this board?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second by Mr. Cookman, second by Mr. Trahan. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Anybody in the public want to
Huh?
Anybody in the public want to say anything?
No, I've asked him 3 times
Oh,
already, I
all
don't know
right.
what to say. You did? What did you want to say when I asked you the first time?
Yeah, I couldn't even ask him.
I asked you if anybody else had anything they wanted to say.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, Irene, good night.